start, so I'm going to give it a few
Hmm.
seconds.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful, amazing souls. Thank you all so much for being here today and sharing this lovely space with the beautiful Campton and myself. And really excited to be able to just share this space with you all. And if you are new here to PinOak's Cove, please feel free to like the video and subscribe to my channel. We're going to be doing these weekly, bi-weekly, at least some on Wednesdays. They're going to be on Wednesdays. So PinOak's Pals is intentioned for a space to be able to create connection and foster inspiration within ourselves as well as you, the viewers. So really grateful to be able to be in this space and really grateful for the energies that kind of brought us here and really just holding a lot of gratitude for the growth that I have seen in my life as well as those that I'm connected with, and just really being able to see the people that I just love and cherish being able to fill their purpose, their mission, their hearts, finding their joy, whatever it may be, but really just kind of watching the world unfold and yeah, seeing people fill their space. So I'm filled with gratitude. I'm grateful for you, Campton. I don't know if you want to share any of your own gratitude. If you'd like to share gratitude in the chat, by all means, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I guess first and foremost, I have an immense amount of gratitude for you, Kristen, because um, it really hit me earlier. Like you're that friend that I always needed. I didn't have a lot of really strong, close, like-minded, heart-centered friends for the majority of my life, and I suffered a lot of bullying and ostracization from half of my family. And everything's good with that now. But just your vibe and what how you add to every person and how you are just this magnanimous pure soul. And I mean, I am very fortunate to know you and have this connection, and everybody else that knows you is also incredibly fortunate for that as well. So my gratitude today is focused on you.
It's just like just a giant reflection, Campton. Like I feel like we could just sit as mirrors in front of each other forever and just be like, gratitude.
Yeah.
Now I want to share that like kind of the brainchild of this was formed at the Ascended event, and it kind of was a moment that Campton and I shared that I think is going to be forever ingrained in both of our hearts, where we kind of both had this moment where we saw the divinity within each other and within ourselves. I think in that same moment, it was like when everything was crumbling and falling, we were like, oh, wait, we can do this. Wait, we are already doing this.
Yeah.
Let's just do it. And so this is supposed to be a free flow space. And so, in theme with that, I would love for everyone here to be able to just be able to find a moment and connect in our hearts and share a little bit of a breath meditation. I will read Flash says, thanks for having us. And Jessica Rabbit, so grateful to learn from all of you. And Kristen, so grateful for all of your positivity. I am just like, I'll just reflect it back to everyone. Like, you all, I am just a divine reflection of your own love. Like, everything that you see from me is something that I have received from you. So we can just keep, we can just keep the circle going and love splash our way into all the hearts of the world. She's good.
Love splash. I love that.
Oh yeah. Oh, you not. Hold on, Campton. I'll get a good love splash for you. Ooh, did you get wet?
I yeah, yeah, I guess so. Housed with love.
Good.
Perfect.
Good. The love splash is well loved in the Cove community, so I'm grateful to share it with you.
I'm in the splash zone.
Yeah. Hey, maybe now you can take the love splash and ripple it out into the
I will. I'm gonna carry this forward.
oh, beautiful. Okay, okay, loves. If we would like to just find our centers and connect in our breath, if you'd like, you can close your eyes if you feel comfortable. We're just going to focus on taking a nice deep breath in. Release. Breath in. And release. One more breath in. And release. And I invite you in this moment to notice the energy that exists all around you, and welcoming in a peaceful, loving, calm energy into this space. And I invite you to allow this energy to move through your body, releasing any tension within the arms, the shoulders, the torso, and the legs. And inviting this energy to move all the way down and into the ground, connecting you with the earth. And I invite for you in this moment, with each breath that you breathe in, allowing yourself to breathe this love into your body. And exhale any remaining tensions or frustrations. And taking one more moment to send gratitude to our bodies for all that they do, sending peace to the mind and connection in the souls. And we'll take one final breath in. And release. And whenever you're ready, you can begin to bring your awareness back to this moment, wiggling our fingers and our toes, our knees and our nose, and opening your eyes whenever you're ready. Thank you all so much for being here and for sharing your unique expression. So for today, beautiful Campton, I would love to just be able to hold space for discussion over, what it is that we can do in this now moment to be the change that we wish to see in the world. And I understand that this is a large question and it can go in about any direction we want. So I think where I'm going to start with it is just pointing out that for myself and my journey, being able to see change in my world has come from a direct reflection of myself and making those immediate changes in my own life that I can do. And so it really started with practicing mindfulness and getting really involved in being aware and conscious of my moments and being honest with myself about my surroundings. So paying attention to your physical spaces and how you have your day-to-day life and what it is that it's reflective of you. So for example, noticing that on the days that maybe I don't feel so great, looking around and seeing, is my house kind of messy? Have I been meditating? What have I been eating lately? Are these things in alignment with, those higher vibrational energy states that I would rather be in? And if the answer is no, making little changes and not making myself feel bad for being in those places, because it's part of the journey, right? Like, you're not going to be expected to be perfect 24/7, and you're not going to start your spiritual journey and then all of a sudden be this, an extremely enlightened that has everything down and ready to go. It's a process, and I think it's important to know that it's not a linear process. It's a roller coaster ride, and sometimes you're going way up and everything's amazing, and then you maybe hit that low and you're like, oh wait, I got some more healing to do. And just allowing yourself to flow with the process, I think for me has been one of the most important steps for making direct changes in my personal life. So, what about you, Campton?
What about me for being the change or
Yes.
being okay? Yeah, so monkey see, monkey do for sure. And, in its strongest form, when a child is being raised. And I think the critical awareness here is that you can't trick the universe. You can't trick the truth of our nature. And for me, I was fortunate in a way to not have like friends growing up, because when I had my spiritual awakening, I didn't have to fight for my opinion or radically like diving deep into my intuition and just spouting all of these things like they are fact, which they are to me, right? The true nature of the universe, and how we all, like, God is existence, and we are that source, we are that same thing, we're all unified and also infinitely individual. um but yeah, it's really about presence and power and authenticity, and going in yourself and asking yourself, what is the right thing to do? What do I know is right? And if I'm being honest with myself, would I like my life, or no, let me say this again. If I did all the right things that I knew were right, I would have to admit to myself that that would be an ideal scenario. All the things that I have, all the answers that I have inside of my head, I'm going to go for them, right? It's that inner hypocrisy that we got to wash away. I'm willingly giving advice but not listening to it. What does that say? Right, so it's about integrity. And there's a built-in like a safety mechanism to the universe, is that the best things don't happen unless you let them. And and go for them. And there's just so many directions we could take this. That's why my mind is scattered all over the place. But really, it's monkey see, monkey do. Like, however you are internally is going to change somebody, and you can't fake that. Vibes, that's a real thing. It's like your electromagnetic field holds your thoughts in it, and your feeling, and who you are. So it's like when you walk into a room, somebody can actually feel um who you really are. And that's so important. It's so key. And we can relax into that. That's another thing about authenticity, is it's something that you relax into. It's not something you have to try to force. It's just something you listen to and you act with naturally. And the more you do that, the more you actually gain the confidence with the truth. You realize, oh, I just said that thing that I was worried about for decades, and somebody received it very well. What was I thinking? That's a spiritual awakening in itself. Like, oh my God, 95% of the things that I worry about don't actually end up happening. All the scripts that I write in my head, they never actually are spoken in the world. Nothing actually ever goes how I thought it would. I can have a really good guess, but I just need to operate under that guess and not overthink it, because I'll destroy the good that was in that. Right. A lot of the time, something good will happen to me, and my brain will instantly start trying to find all the reasons that I don't deserve it, or it wasn't as good. And I'll talk myself out of it, even though the initial feeling for that thing happening was amazing and transformative. And that's the thing about the spiritual. I'm getting off track here. Monkey see, monkey do. As for being a role model, that's just how I see it. I see it from the neurological perspective. Like, when you're looking at somebody, your mirror neurons are firing. Like, the same neurons that they're doing this with are firing in your brain. So it's super important. Yeah, I love doing this, because it's like it brings a reality to what we really are, and that is a fleshly being made of particles and vibrations. So yeah.
I love it, Campton. This will for now be my like reality check. Like if I need one, I'm gonna be like, Kristen, are you present?
What am I really?
No, I love that, Campton, and I think you brought up a really important point of whenever we get inspired to do something and then taking that action, right? So like, wow, how often do you get this? Where you'll get an idea where you're like, I'm really frustrated that I have to go to the grocery store and buy processed foods because that's what's convenient. Maybe it would be great if I just could grow my own garden and have food. Oh, well, I'm going to drive to the grocery store. But what if in that moment you chose to say, you know what? I'm going to invest in myself. And maybe I'm going to check out a place in town where maybe I could start a local garden or connect with a community locally or close that is already working on community garden spaces. It would take that one tiny action, if you did it, to grow into something bigger, right? And so it's like maybe it seems overwhelming, the big things that we can do to be change. But whenever we all make those little changes and we all choose to move forward in those directions, then it's not just you making the change, it's now a group of people making the change. And now you're not just building a garden, but a community is building the garden. Now we're all working on tending to it and growing it and, fostering that environment. So, I think that's a really important point of being able to see, like, where are you inspired? Like, pay attention to those little inspirations, even if they seem crazy. Like, I was thinking about this the other day. I watched this little podcast about this little cute twin flame couple that lives in Hawaii, and I don't know, it's an adorable story. And they live a very simple life. They wake up every day, they say their affirmations, they eat what they can from the island, they cleanse in the water, and la la la. They were going about their day, and I had a moment where I was like, wow, that's a really great way to live, but like, could I do that forever? Like, what would be the point of that? And it kind of started questioning it in my own life. And then I realized in that moment, I was like, okay, but even if I'm not doing it, they are. And they're gaining that wisdom on how to live that kind of lifestyle. So that way, whenever more people feel called to that, they have support. And then it doesn't have to just be those two people alone, but they can have their community doing the thing together, rising in a space where they're feeling supported. And so what do you think you have seen in your life or in the people that you share life with? Because I know we know a lot of amazing people doing all these things. What are some inspirations that you would say people could follow in their own spaces?
That's a really good question and a really lovely thought. Um, Yeah, I think it's almost like something wants to be created through us, and inspiration is kind of a whisper or a hint, and we have to use our will to act on it. I think we're given that opportunity to use our will, even despite having intuition that's like tapped into the quantum field or source and things like that. And it's almost like when you make a decision, when your intuition changes, like the garden example, this is amazing. Like, you making that decision to go to that place to check it out may have inspired somebody that you don't even know, like with a random intuition, to like line up with a meeting with you, and then you guys have a conversation and it turns into something beautiful and explosive. So just think about that, like the decisions that you make actively change the universe and what people are drawing from it. So it's almost like if you do if you do a lot of internal work and you are a heart-centered individual, basically every situation that you go into will try to like work itself for the best of the whole, right? And it'll almost work around you. Like, the universe knows that you exist, right? Because you're it. So it definitely wants things to work out for you, and it's desperate for that, because you and when your inspiration are integral to somebody else's life. Like like Kristen, you have this gift, and we all have gifts, but nobody else has our gift. We have to give it. And when I see somebody's gift flourish, it's just the most amazing thing that I could ever experience, because it's like, it really shows me nobody is special, but we're all special. And there's no reason not to live your fullest life and be and live from that place of inspiration and excitement, and capitalizing on your curiosities. Your curiosities are there to encourage you to accrue the information that would enhance you as a vessel for creation. And I just think that's beautiful. Like, you're inspired for a reason. And in the Matrix, we in our brain, it gets really good at resisting that feeling of intuition, because that intuition is flying out of you when you're a kid, and then it takes one nasty situation for your brain to go, oh, that's bad. That intuition, that feeling of like limitless freedom, no, it's bad. I need to hate myself. I need to like stuff that down. And then your brain gets really good at that. Your brain gets really good at justifying reasons to not listen to your intuition. So when you come out of the Matrix, you're being reborn. Like, imagine you go right back to zero, because it's essentially reorienting the way that you accumulate information. Nothing is the same anymore. So we have to live from inspiration, because that's where the infinite creative essence lies.
So true, Campton. I'm curious, because I know, like, even in my own spaces, I will get inspired to do something, and then you're right, that ego comes in and starts talking to you, and you're like, oh, all the reasons why you couldn't do this, or you shouldn't do this, or it's not going to work, or it's not going to blah, 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 all the things that the ego says. Sorry, my ego talks to my left ear, apparently, but
And with a British accent.
and with definitely a 100% British accent. And so, like, what can we do in those moments to maybe help quiet the mind, to give our inspiration a chance to flourish. I know for me, I utilize breath work. Like, that's my most important tool in my belt. But sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes I get through the breathing and I'm like, okay, that still sounds scary. I'm going to walk away and do something else. And then what happens, I've noticed, if it's something that's really meant for me to bring forward, it'll come back around. It'll keep showing up in other ways, and then I keep having to look at it until I eventually decide to take action and do the thing, right? And so, like, what tools do you use whenever you're working with your that monkey mind, or that overactive no say, or whatever? I can't, the ego that tells you no.
The ego that tells you no.
Yeah.
I guess the inner critic, or I guess the inner whatever that is. And they say that it's not real, like we're not the thoughts, but I think it's a little bit of a misnomer, because thoughts are useful sometimes and sometimes they're not. I treat the thinking process as a tool, that, and I can give certain thoughts energy, and it will invariably make me feel that, and it's indiscriminate. And this is something that's like crucial here, is like, it's like you are always exerting your will, and the more presence that you cultivate, the more you can catch the automatic machinations of your mind that are inconsistent with the higher logic that you already have. So those answers that we already have. So for me, I guess a tool would be realizing that um, confidence is earned when you're afraid to do something but act based on logic, and then it deletes the fight or flight response from that initial thing that you wanted to do, and that appears as confidence. So confidence isn't just something that you have, it's something that you accrue through like feeling that fear, feeling that that ego, but then doing it anyway to prove it wrong. And the more that you prove this ego wrong, the more the less it becomes part of an active part of your reality. So meditation is great, and meditation for me at the beginning, to do all of this stuff, it wasn't like me sitting down repeating a mantra. A lot of the times it was open-eyed staring at the ceiling, re-logicizing the way that I was living my life, and how I and the disposition that I had towards myself. So like I'll give you an example thought. Would be to re-logicize would be like, I'm broken, I'm incapable, but I like, that was just an automatic part of who I was. But that, like, when I was on my self healing journey, I had to figure it out no matter what. So that wasn't going to work. I'm broken. This isn't like that's immediately defeating. So I had to think, no, there's 7.6 billion people on the planet. I couldn't be the only broken one that none of this stuff works for. And that gave me a little, like a whisper of a gateway from not being able to get out of bed to a 15-minute try, a 15-minute shot at something that I logically knew would be beneficial for my health, but I hadn't experienced yet. And I went on that walk, and I slowly started to accumulate the proof that walking, it clears your mind. And when you tune into your body, really cool things can happen. And for me, my driving force was competitive video gaming. Like, I was really, really good. And I was really, really good because I was using plant medicine in combination with neuroscience to figure out the fastest way to install skills into my nervous system. This is how I had to think about it, to like get rid of the ego, was as long as I repeat these actions, I'm creating synaptic pathways that represent the skill. And I noticed that as I accrued motor skills within these competitive games, my paradigm would shift. Something that was incredibly hard was just easy. And I was like, what is that? Why does something feel hard? And then you repeat a bunch of stuff and then it's easy. And that's just something I explored with plant medicine, thinking about that, and then having all of those spontaneous realizations, and then using those realizations to like refine every single day my concept of like mastering the human body as an instrument, and exerting your will to cause verifiable chemical and electrical reactions inside of you, so that you can transcend that ego. And that's my spirituality, really, is the laws of physics and biology. And now it's going to those higher realms of awareness, and so on and so forth. But I guess to close it out, I always get off track on these things, but my favorite thing to do to transcend the ego is to realize that it's physiological. It's physiological. Your body is, your eyes are seeing a circumstance, and the neurons that you've always had are going to fire, and it's going to cause that fight or flight. But then you have that higher intuition that says, oh, it could be good, like this could work. And then, as soon as you have that thought, the ego's like, but this, but that, and but you have to do it anyway to prove it wrong. And I wish that for everybody on the planet.
Campton, just so you know, you could go off on any tangent you want, and I'm still gonna love listening to it.
Okay.
Don't
All
think
right.
that. Like, if you ever feel an inkling to go off on quantum physics, like, by
Mhm.
all means, I'm never gonna stop you.
Well, I'm just afraid of eating the air, so it's like you'll stop me, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If it's it, if you're droning, but yeah. I've
Okay.
never, like I said, Campton, I could literally sit and listen to you for hours because the wisdom you share is just always so beautiful. You have a really eloquent way of putting knowledge into wisdom into words that are digestible. I love that about you. That's one of my favorite things about you.
Thank you so much.
You're so
That's like the
not.
highest compliment you could give me because that's my obsession. It's my double-edged sword. It's like my blessing and my curse. I'm obsessed with it. So it can go either way for me, like emotionally. But to hear that from you, it's a high honor. Thank you.
It's like I'm seeing you now with like your crazy cool like futuristic Jedi gear with like your flaming sword, and I don't know why, but it's like rainbow flames and it's double edged, and you're like, this is my wisdom sword. I will slice away all of the fear and the doubt, and I will fill it with wisdom as it comes.
Yes, I love that.
We'll see. Maybe I'll make a painting of it, but
Yo,
or we'll see. It's been a while, but I used to really love to paint the Light Guardian gear people. So
that would be in the most visible part of my house. I swear to
okay.
you.
Well then, keep an eye out for
I
future.
will. I'll keep my third eye.
Yes. Well then, you'll see it before it's coming if you go that way. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, that's true.
so affirmations, yes, absolutely, 100% affirmations. And I think too, like one of the things that I always fall back on is something that Brendan taught me, which is everything's practice. It's all just practice. You want to know how I made it through Ascended? It's all just practice. Like,
Yeah.
it's all just getting you ready for the next step that you're going to be stepping into. And so if you can kind of take that pressure off of yourself of being like, oh, it doesn't have to be perfect this very first time I try to do a thing. It can just be however it comes, and that's okay. I can do it then. I can do it then. If it's just practice, I can
Mm.
totally do it.
and
And then
and what it like
affirming to
and you
yourself.
start to realize like the power of other people too, like and forgiveness and everything like that. And nobody needed to be forgiven. I'm just saying like the power of love and the power of like adaptation and how people were cool with it to the max, even though it was like anxiety to the max at one point. But I felt and I saw a real-time example of a peak of anxiety and then a dip back down into peace and liberation. Right? It was that peak anxiety. It was like, we need to do this differently. We got to figure something else. It can't be this anymore. And then that moment collided on you, like all of the anxiety around Ascended 2021, like you're the Reiki master there. So it kind of grounded to you. Thank you for that. And then you released it and it transformed the entire environment. And it was just one of the most amazing things that I've ever seen. So I totally agree with you there.
I will say, Campton, that cry session I had was, if I could even put words to it, it was just like, I know you've made comment that like, oh, you cried for everyone there. I felt that. Like, I felt like I had been crying for years by the time I stopped. Like, it was just this unload of like this release of like all this expectation and being like, it can just be. It can just be, because that's the thing is, as humans, I feel like we love to make things complicated. It's got to have a meaning, and it's got to be this way, and this is the only way. But what if we change our paradigm around it and say, what if it is easy? What can we do to make it be easy? What if we tried the easy way and see how it goes?
Yeah.
What even better yet, what if we just allow it to be easy?
Right. And what if we just switch the screen to Buddha Cam and call it a day?
Forever Buddha Camp.
Yes.
Forever Buddha Camp.
He came in thick.
Came in perfect. I sat and watched Buddha Camp for a while, that's for sure. No, awesome. All right, beautiful Campton. I think at this point, I would love for us to just share any other bits of wisdom that we might feel called when it comes to being able to focus our energies on taking that action. So we've talked about like working through the mind and finding the inspiration. Now, what are some physical things we can do? I had a really great idea that came to me the other day. What if in this world, when we spend our hard earned money, however we earn our money, whichever way, what if we spent it on each other? What would happen if instead of taking your $20 and going to your local store and buying a shirt, what if you took that $20 and you found a creator on Etsy or TikTok and said, ooh, this person's putting their time and energy. What if I support that? I'm just curious. Like, I wonder what kind of a change in the world, because now we're taking that funnel of money, that stream of energy that's going out into these big companies, and we're now funneling that into the individuals who are turning around and funneling it into each other, right?
Yeah. And materially, so that's another thing, is all of this wealth that's hoarded, like, and this is time, this is resources that's being kept away. And something you mentioned there, it's like you can, like, oh, this is a perfect example. So my favorite, like, bracelet by Kristen, I was looking at this and I was like, you could have an Instagram shop where you have like 20 of these, and you just make 20 on one day or throughout the week, and then you list them for $5. I mean, and then, like, or anybody's shop, right? And then somebody comes in, and let's not use you as an example. Let's use somebody who's like struggling with action, struggling with like self-belief and everything like that. So you go into their shop, they have a $5 bracelet, and they might be thinking of giving up, and then you swoop in and you're like, you know what, random $5 to somebody, I'm going to buy this bracelet. You just made them make 20 more bracelets and continue making those bracelets, and that money, you made them, like, you make money. And this is the thing about investing into people. People are the assets, people are the value, and money will eventually ground into like physical locations and education systems and everything like that. And I think that that's a world we're headed to. And unfortunately, the media and whatever we scroll through online is literally curated for anger. And just the other day, when like Facebook and stuff were down, the world felt better, like the world felt calmer. And I think it's because an algorithm wasn't pumping anger into the world in front of millions of eyes. And this is a consensus reality, and we're all co-creating. So like, however the dominant energy is how is what we'll all feel. And some pretty scary stuff. Like now, like, I can't even think about it, because like, oh my God, wait, Facebook was down, the world felt better. Like the energy in the air was better. I mean, I think as for taking action and investing in people, like, that's the way of the world. So we're kind of in the club that did it before the like the gym fad hit, where everybody started going to the gym. We're in the spirit realm before everybody starts going to the spirit gym, and we're erecting those buildings, and we're creating those curriculums, and we are changing people's lives. And like I mentioned earlier, like, you buy a $5 bracelet from somebody, you made them keep going, you changed somebody's life. And I think recognizing that, even like a like and a comment and a story share, I mean, it's ridiculous, like, what it can do for people. It's just like, I almost feel bad for not doing it, because it makes people keep on going. And it's just a beautiful thing.
I will say, just sharing part of like my personal story. I actually have an Etsy shop. I closed it down
Oh
because
no.
it's a lot. It's work to keep up with. But I did have an Etsy shop, and I did sell my bracelets along with fairy jars and meditation stones and all kinds of cute little arts and craftsy things. And I did have people from this paradigm shift community buy things from my store, and that is actually the motivation that brought me to where I am today, doing lives and podcasts and all this things. So it really actually did start with a small little
Wow.
Etsy store and somebody buying. I think my thing was a $10 thing, but yeah. So you really do have the power to make a difference in someone's life, and it does. It starts with you. It starts with the one, and I think that it's really beautiful, and that's one of the things that is so important about conscious creators or just creators. You don't like take the whole like pressure off of it being this big huge thing, like you have to match up to the top creators. Are you someone that's putting positivity out into the world? Do you utilize your social media pages to promote thoughtful inspiration, well-being, encouragement? You're making the world a better place every time you click that heart button and you promote someone that is doing it, or if you yourself are stepping up and doing it. Those little tiny acts are replacing it, because It's this big thing, and we could talk about this for probably ever, but it's the difference between the world changing from this fear-based programming into this love-based programming, right? And Campton, I know you know, we're working on it. We're doing it. We're doing the things to bring the love-based programming in. And so it's like understanding that every little thing you do matters and makes a difference. And I just want to encourage anyone out there that is, questioning or wondering if they're making a difference in the world. If you're sending love and positivity and encouragement and inspiration out in whatever way you can, you are making a difference. You are being the change that needs to be seen in the world, because the more we perpetuate this love and understanding and acceptance, the more that grows, as opposed to that fear and that anger and that frustration. And so it's like, I think the thing that we have to keep in mind at this point is that it's not about squashing the fear. It's not about like telling it no, but it's about holding respectable space for it to be felt and to pass through, to be welcomed with love. I think is the thing that I'm seeing is it's like, whenever you have perfect example, if you have a 2-year-old that is just mad, sometimes it happens. 2-year-olds get really angry about nothing. It just is. And this 2-year-old's running around and they're throwing stuff and they're punching somebody else, or they're scratching or biting or whatever it is that they're doing. Then you go to the 2-year-old and you talk to them, or you give them space to express what it is, or maybe they just needed to be mad. And then you bring them back to that center of, here we are, what's going on, can we express it? And then they sit and they think, and you can see their little brains turning and churning and trying to understand where they're coming from. And then typically they tend to feel better. They'll give you a hug, or they'll start laughing, or they're the point being is that their attitudes change instantly once they have that opportunity to be like recognized. So, seeing that all this fear and this anger and this frustration in the world, it's something needing to be seen, to be heard, to be welcomed with love, as opposed to being told no and squashed and try to be pushed out of existence, because everything holds value. As above, so below. It needs to hold space. I think it's just a matter of where we're putting our intention and energy at. So I don't know.
Perfectly well said. Yeah, and yeah, the respectable space for fear, because like fear is a survival instinct. It says, hey, something's like kind of off here, something might damage this flesh, and that's the root chakra, is the most basic level of intelligence. So just like a quick thing on the chakras, it's like each chakra is a different part of the electromagnetic spectrum, and each represent a different capacity of our intellect. So like fear and keeping the physical flesh alive is very much in that base level of intelligence, the very first thing that comes into a body. And like realizing that it is an energy and it can be managed, and you can learn how to do that through the subjective experiences that you have. And we are like our mind, our emotions, our struggles, our trauma, our past and everything like that. It's our study, and in shamanism, it's our formative kind of thing for what we provide to the world. It's almost like you're crafting your gift in a way. And I went through some trauma and a lot of mental illness and ostracization, and when I was coming out, when I actually wanted to try to live life, I had to reverse all of the things that happened to millions of people in this matrix. And I feel like, and anybody can do it. Like, I have trouble taking credit for things, because I'm like, well, I woke up into this reality at 3 years old, soiling my diaper in preschool. I can remember it vividly, the moment I came into existence. And it was and then from then on, I just kind of met the environment like flashed into me, and then I responded to it. And so where's me, and where's the credit? And the only credit that I can attribute is this intelligence that we all have, that that life is all about, and listening to that intelligence is life. And we're either afraid of it, or we're enjoying the benefits. And got off track, and I forgot the entrance. How you gave
Where
me.
it's a natural flow combo. I think you're doing great.
Okay.
And I think
Okay.
like you inspired me to just be like, I can recognize that in myself too, because even as we started this broadcast and you're like, I'm grateful for you, Kristen, and I'm like, oh, let me just not accept that and like send it back, like, well, let me hold space for that and just say like, thank you. I will receive that with gratitude and welcome it into my being and hold it in my heart with all the love and respect that it deserves, because it's beautiful whenever we express that kind of love to one another. And I think it's better ingrained whenever you receive it as opposed to push it. So thank you for teaching me even in just this now live moment.
Hmm. And I'm kind of like proud of us, and I'm not kind of proud of us. I am so damn proud of us. And something that came to my mind when I remembered from what you were saying before I started saying things and got off track was like we're laying bricks, and because when we lay a brick, we go to bed, we come back the next day, what we build is still there. So what kind of bricks are you laying? Does it add to your tomorrow, right? We're trying to build a better tomorrow, and the only way to do that is today. And Brendan says it's like start tomorrow today or something like that. And you don't want to live in a bunch of empty yesterdays, and you want to lay those bricks. So close your eyes if you want, and go into yourself, and what immediately comes to mind that you're excited about, that you've always wanted to do, and then what comes after that to try to destroy that or think about or reiterate. Do that over and over again, and then start building bricks within your neurology, within your world, that support the foundation or become the foundation to support your dream. That's what happens. Like your dream manifests when you lay those bricks and you come back to it every single day, right? So yeah, and seeds as well. That's something that also came to my mind. It's like, what kind of seeds are you planting? What kind of weeds are you cutting down? Because your words are your magic. Like they are, because you have this realm of knowingness, and then you learn how to warp it into sounds, and then it shoots across the air into somebody else's mind, and it causes an electrical explosion, and it changes them. That's magic. That's magic. That's magic. And anybody can do it. So that's why I'm obsessed with like the word and articulating these things, because it's literally the most powerful thing in the universe. And as we go through life, we deepen, and that deepens the energy and inflection that we have in our voice. And you can kind of feel how somebody's been deep, and you kind of feel their love, feel their confidence in their words. And um it's yeah, it's great. So the seeds, that's the magic, and you never know how that's going to unfurl for somebody.
What is it? Words, our words create worlds, I think.
Is it?
Yes. And our words are wait, our what is it? Words are spells. I don't know. Anyways,
Hmm.
I'm
Well, we
mixing
spell
it.
words.
We spelling, right? It's
Yeah.
it's called spelling for a reason, right?
Hmm.
Well, I'm gonna share with you guys one of my personal manifestation tricks, if you want to call it, but this is something that I have found to be really powerful in my personal practice. So, if you have something that you're wanting to feel a little more ground into your space, utilizing water. So you can do this either with glasses or whatever, but personally, I do a tub. I do a whole tub full of water, and I speak my affirmations. I'll put on calming, relaxing music, light candles, saying your intentions out loud, right? Putting all of this love and positivity into the room, into the water, because the water soaks it up, and science has proven that our words actually change the molecular buildup of water. So you change the buildup of the water with all the love and all the intention and everything you'd like to bring in. And then you give yourself a nice little 30-minute relaxation moment in this water, soaking it in and just imagining yourself bringing all of this beautiful intention into your body. Plus, you get the added benefit of taking time to relax, which is always good. And if you're someone that doesn't like taking baths, you can still do this just in the shower. It's all good. It's all relevant. So, but yeah, that's just I felt called to share in the moment. That's a personal technique that I utilize.
I
So,
never thought of that. I know about like blessing your water and things like that, and how like your intention like vibrates the water and changes its crystalline structure, mineral structure, or whatever. And it does have an effect, and we are water, so that's crazy. And oh yeah, and your salts, like the salts that you gave me, that too, that has intention in there as well. And yeah.
Yes, and those salts can be used the same. If you're not a bath person, you can put them in a shower, and it still emits off of the energy and the smells and all the good stuff. So
I didn't know that. How do
yep.
you, so is there like an attachment or something?
No, I no, but you could. I mean, it could be as simple as like the drawstring bag has like a little loop. You could just hang it on a little hook in your shower.
Hmm,
It could be that easy.
cool.
Anyways, well, good. Yes, this has been amazing, Campton. This has been perfect. I couldn't have imagined a better PinOak Pals kickoff for this.
Inception or conception. What would it be? What's the word?
Hmm, I
I
don't.
don't know.
I'm now mixing the two up. I feel like conception is the right word somewhere, but
Yeah.
we conceptualized it. We brought it forward. It's
Mhm. And how it unfolded was amazing. I mean, it just kind of made sense. Like PinOak's Pals, it immediately rung in my ear, and like now we're here, and this is amazing. This is amazing, Kristen.
the power of creation
Yeah.
and support like 100%.
Hmm.
So, well, good. I'm grateful and I'm excited for future events and more conversations. And if you are interested in joining in for PinOak's Pals, feel free to contact me. I do have a sort of plan for the next few episodes, but it's really going to be just a sacred space for me and one other, or potentially two other souls, to be able to share some heart wisdom and love and inspiration. So I'm excited. This is a living, breathing project just like the rest of my life at the moment. So I'm excited to see it grow, and I couldn't be more grateful to have you by my side, and the love and support that I just have for you is unlimited, Campton. Like, you will forever, I like, until I'm just absolutely old in this world, I will love you and cherish you in my life. So thank you so much for being such a beautiful friend and support. I hope you just continue to ripple all of the amazing wisdom that you do out into the world and all the ways that you do. And I'm excited for the adventures we have yet to go on as
Hmm.
well.
Yeah, you make it really hard to follow you when you say stuff like that. Not follow you mean like not understand, but like come after you and start talking, because it's like I'm just like in the wave, the echo of what you just said. But to reflect and amplify, or just share whatever. I love the mirror analogy, but yeah, I mean, my soul will forever be impacted by our connection, our bond, and the camaraderie that we shared, and Ascended 2021. I mean, that was something. I was really something, and it was only a whisper of what's to come. It was just a little, and how good is that? So, gosh, Kristen, thank you for having me. You're a pure, authentic, genuine, amazing soul, and we, the warriors of light that surround you, will protect you into infinity and beyond. Yeah, love splash.
Love splash. Hold on, wait, let's get it on the gallery view.
Mm.
Can we love splash?
Woo, love splash.
Okay, beautiful souls. Thank you all so much for joining. Don't forget to like this video and check out the links down below to be able to connect with Campton or myself further. Thank you for being you and doing all that you do and being unique in your beautiful divine expression. I send you all off with a beautiful namaste. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye.